Hello everyone, I am the Weather Dude. Welcome back, and today we are going to be talking about a massive cold blast that is about to shift its way across the continental United States. As always, be sure to like and subscribe, as well as watch this video the whole way through to get the best weather content, and we're just going to get right into it here, starting off with the Climate Prediction Center showing their 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. And you can see pretty much for the eastern half of the country, a pretty high likelihood of seeing below average temperatures between April 23rd and 27th. This goes for Alaska as well. Pretty much only the Four Corners southwest region is the spot where they're expecting above average temperatures during that time. And precipitation, pretty much the corners of the United States, funnily enough, are in the above average precipitation zones here, and in the middle of the country, maybe a little bit below average, but there is going to be severe weather in the zone. I just wanted to kind of show you the precipitation outlook as well. 8 to 14 day temperature outlook. This goes up to May 1st, and we still got pretty much the eastern half of the country a medium likelihood of seeing below average temperatures. So this could be lasting for a couple of weeks, maybe not a couple of weeks straight, but a couple of weeks where we see a good amount of cold air coming in here. And the precipitation outlook, again, from the northern plains and pretty much straight across I-10 on the Gulf Coast, where we see that above average precipitation, maybe a little bit below average for the Great Lakes regions. So let's get into why one of the reasons why this cold air is coming in. And if we zoom in here to the Arctic Oscillation and we have the North Atlantic Oscillation, both when negative, and as you're going to see slip pretty far negative according to GFS ensembles here and GEFS ensembles, it's going to slip down another from it's already at -1, it could slip to -3 over the next few days or so, next couple of days. And of course, when that's lower, that's going to lead to some colder air that tends to invade in the north central and the plains, and eventually in the Midwest as well. So this being lower is a good reason why. And another reason is the North Atlantic Oscillation. All right, you can see as it goes down, as it will up until the 1st of May, it's going to be trending more negative. Hence, again, that cold air that typically when these oscillations are negative, it allows that jet stream to get further south. And there is also a cold front that is sweeping across the United States as well. We're going to get into that in a little bit right here. So looking at the GFS model, you can see if we look at the 500 millibar heights, you can kind of see a low pressure system that is moving across the upper Midwest, kind of that winter storm we were talking about here. You can see it moving up in that kind of cold pocket that we see forming on the back side here. All right, and as it moves up into Canada, we see another low following it, and you can really tell, you can kind of see a low forming here, cold front, severe weather, and then kind of that cold air you can already see behind it. And this is just the 500 millibar heights to kind of see the ridging and troughing, but we're also going to show the temperature outlooks as well. You can kind of see here high pressures setting up on the western flank of this, kind of helping to push that cold air down, along with the backside of the low pressure system helping to push even more cold air down. So it is going to get cold, and it's going to get very cold. Now, maybe not, it may not technically feel Arctic, maybe not below zero for any low elevation areas, in the upper Midwest, for example, but it will be very cold considering it's late April. I think considering that, it's going to get very cold. Right? And you can see, there it is for the upper Midwest. You can see some troughing there, and that kind of lifts out, and then that's pretty much it. Kind of in the margin of error at this point. Because we're kind of going out to beginning of May, so we can't really. But I mean, even though it's far out, there's another trough coming in already on May 3rd. So as long as we remain in this negative Arctic oscillation pattern, this negative North Atlantic oscillation pattern, all right, we're going to continue to see these cold spells kind of unleash here. So if we look at some of the modeling here, let's take a look here at the GFS model. You can see this was for this afternoon, actually, Monday at 2 p.m., just a few hours ago. You can see 15 to 20 degrees below average parts of the upper Midwest, and even the Midwest, the Ohio Valley. All right, some warm air may start to settle in a little bit here, but then watch this. All right, this is overnight Friday into Saturday. You can see widespread 10 to 20 degrees below average, pretty much from the Dakotas down to Texas. All right, kind of behind this frontal system that will bring some severe weather before that cold air comes in. All right, and you can see it starting to build, and there you go. By Saturday afternoon, we're talking 20 to 30 degrees below average. All right, and I think the max here is yeah, 28, 29 below average there in eastern Tennessee. So that's pretty far below average in terms of our temperatures. If we head to the actual temperature map, and we can actually see here what actual temperatures we could be seeing. Yeah, low 40s and upper 30s. Like at like 4 or 5 p.m. All right, is typically like, kind of like when that warmer time is supposed to be, especially because it's spring. The sun's setting later and later now. Right? And the fact that at 4 or 5 p.m. we're still in the upper 30s to low 40s, yeah, it's very cold. All right, so that's the kind of cold air we're talking here. All right, and even overnight, if we look at overnight, we can see temperatures getting well into the 30s and even below freezing, and even below 20 in some areas up here in the northern plains. So it's going to get very cold, especially when it was just really warm up here. We had just seen some pretty warm temperatures, and that's gonna kind of not really last. So we had the warm temperatures. You might see a little bit of a warm shot before that cold air really just punches in. And notice it comes in Saturday, and it's still around Monday, Tuesday. By Tuesday, maybe it makes its way further to the east, right? So overnight Monday into Tuesday, you can see on the eastern seaboard now, 10, 15, even over 20 degrees below average here. So, we got a pretty good batch of cold air that's making its way in here. Starting off in the northern plains, central U.S., then spilling over into the east eventually. And it kind of just sits in the east. I mean, still pretty cold, even heading through the end of the month, although we're starting to get pretty far out at this point. So with the European model, we're going to take a look at the 850 millibar temperature anomalies. So basically, the temperature anomalies here at 5,000 feet to kind of show you the more atmospheric dynamic to this here. So if we look here, right up at 5,000 feet, you can see that cold pocket of air that's allowing that snow to fall, right? Because in the higher elevations, we have some air that is below average by as much as, 5, 10, even 15 degrees Celsius here. So pretty significantly below average. You can see a little bit of warm air, especially again at 5,000 feet, kind of comes in briefly here. And this can sort of replicate what's going on at the surface, right? So brief warm up maybe on Wednesday, but it's just gone. All right, so we're starting off kind of be like a weekend thing here. So here's Friday, 10, 20 degrees below average up in the northern plains, and it just spills down into the south. I mean, the atmosphere is going to be really cold here. I mean, we're talking 16 degrees Celsius below average. Right, for the central plains. Then that kind of just spills over into the Ohio Valley into the east. Temperatures are going to get pretty cold here. And again, it pretty much stays on the eastern seaboard, even by April 27th, where it's still in the eastern seaboard. If we look at the temperatures at 5,000 feet, what kind of temperatures could we be seeing here? You could see temperatures at 5,000 feet right now below zero, and not just below, like well below, in the teens and 20s even. Right, so pretty cold air allowing that snow to fall, but even when there's no snow and that cold shock comes in, all right, you can kind of see the frontal system kind of like this, maybe cold front here, warm front here, allowing that surge temporarily of warm air in the east while we get this cold shock coming in from the west. And then you're going to see that cold air just continue to invade anywhere in the blue or darker, or blue, or I should say, or lower. That's kind of your below. So anywhere in here basically is below 32 degrees Fahrenheit here at 5,000 feet. So very cold air. And again, this does translate to the surface. Maybe not exactly, but this cold air does translate in some way into the surface. So let's take a look now at the Canadian model here. All right, and as you can see, cold air over the upper Midwest. Again, maybe a brief warm shot or brief hot shot, if we don't call it a hot shot, since we call it a cold shot. 27 over central Iowa here. No, not 27 degrees, but 27 degrees above average. So pretty warm, all right? And that won't last too long because, again, here comes the cold air. Even over the Rockies, we're going to see some snow showers, all right, falling over those regions. And then you can see down in the southern plains and the central plains, yeah. 25 to 30 degrees below average, all the way down the central and southern plains. I mean, it's pretty much, and it's in Ohio and down to Georgia, all the way back into the Four Corners and even back towards Nevada. So it's just going to cover like a good, 90% of the country in cold air. So definitely be ready for it. You're not going to expect it, especially considering we've been seeing these warm temperatures recently across a good chunk for hundreds of millions of you in the United States have been seeing a good chunk of warm air. So this will definitely be a little, it's going to sting a little bit, if you will. All right, so 20 degrees below average here across the Ohio Valley as we head into Monday. And in the east, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, still at least 10 degrees below average. And that's enough to cause a bit of a chill, a little bit of a nip in the air. And if we take a look here at the actual temperatures, let's take a look at how cold these temperatures could actually get. Because, you talk a good game with 20, 25 below average. How cold can it actually get? I know a lot of you want to know. So here we go, Saturday morning, kind of like one of the peaks of the cold air. You can see in the Rockies could get as low as teens, single digits, and even hitting 0 or below 0 in the highest elevations. Still getting into the 30s and 40s all the way down to Texas. Not just northern Texas either, like southern Texas, even like Houston in the 40s. All right. And we still got that warm surge taking place across the east. Again, that's because that frontal system hasn't swept through yet. But once it does, oh boy. Overnight Sunday and the Monday, temperatures are going to be in the 30s all the way down into the deep south. It's going to be cold. Definitely pack that sweater or that heavier jacket for sure. Sweat jacket or a lighter jacket at the least. And Tuesday morning here, all right, you can see again below freezing in the northern plains, basically from the Dakotas over to Michigan. All right, and that just sticks around. Mostly below freezing, I think, is going to stick to the morning hours. So maybe some frost and freeze could be taking place, especially on those, those plants that still might be growing or that vegetation that might start to grow in the spring. But again, it's going to stick around here for quite a few days, maybe even until the end of April. We're just going to finish off the video here talking about what is going to come before the cold air comes in, what we're going to have to deal with. All right, just going to talk very briefly here. You can see the severe weather outlook. All right, we've got a slight risk for Kansas up to Iowa. All right, and even a hatched area, meaning significant severe. Right, that the highest probability that we can go. Right, that's what that hatched area means from Kansas, Nebraska up into Iowa, meaning we could see a significant chance of significant severe weather that could cause a lot of problems. Right, so you can see hatched area, 10% or greater probability of significant severe weather within 25 miles of a point. So, and in this case, much higher than that. So definitely going to be seeing some severe weather here across the Central Plains. And if we look at days 4 to 8, what could be happening after that? So here is Thursday. There's your probability zone, basically around Texarkana and Arkansas, specifically around Little Rock. And then kind of settling to the south a little bit more, maybe across like Jackson, Mississippi, Monroe, Louisiana, Shreveport, as we head into your Friday. So that's what's to come before the cold air sets in. But yes, definitely prepare. Hundreds of millions of you are going to be feeling the cold air. Be sure to wear that heavier jacket. Stay safe out there. I am the Weather Dude signing off. Till next time, I'll catch you guys in the next video.